Why that you can't tell that we're moving, because the horizon always stays at eye level. I guess that's why they call it eye level.
Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting flerf dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back. Gears UK here. So I've been sent this video a few times on TikTok, and flat earthers seem to think this proves that the horizon rises to eye level. Let's have a closer look, because either, as you know, flat earth evidence either debunks them, or they don't understand it, or they're lying about it, or they leave certain things out. Now I think in this one, I think it's more like they're lying about it. Let's have a look and see if this is evidence of flat earth, or if we can kind of go through it and see if flat earth is trying to pull the wool over our eyes.
You look out the window. What do you notice?
What I notice is that it's a really actually good evidence of the curvature of the earth. Let's have a look. You see those trees or the bit of the land off in the distance. Now watch as they go down in the elevator. Oh, wow, where'd it go? It disappeared. Let's go back up. Oh, you can see it. And then we go down. It disappears over the horizon. Holy crap. Go up. You can see it all. Go down and disappears over the curvature of the earth. Holy crap. Wow, look at this. This seems to have falsified their accusations of the flat earth, and actually is evidence of the globe. Look at that. Go up, you can see it. And we go down and disappears over the horizon. Look at that. Crazy. This is some fantastic globe evidence. Thanks, whoever sent this to me. You just proved the globe and falsified the flat earth. And we can see that the horizon actually curves, showing the curvature. Good job. So once again, you go up, you can see the trees off in the distance, and as soon as you go down and go to lower altitude, they disappear over the horizon of the earth. So yeah, this has already debunked their whole claim that the earth is flat, because they're a flat earther and think that the earth is flat, but they're actually showing evidence of the curvature of the earth. So it's amazing how flat earthers seem to do this, that their evidence, that they think is evidence, actually debunks the whole entire claim. But let's move on, because they think that the horizon rises eye level.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. You see that crossbar? Oh, we're in an elevator. We're going down, but you can't even tell.
Oh, that's not true. Easy to tell, because I can see how the distance objects there, like those trees or that land off in the distance, seems to dip below the horizon as you go lower in elevation. So this is actually globe proof and debunks their flat earth premise that they're trying to push. So yeah, easy to tell if you just look out and maybe be slightly observant.
You know why? I know why. Let me show you. So let's set up a level in the elevator, and I'm going to put the camera behind it on a tripod, looking right across the top of the level. Okay, now let's go back to here. Okay, when you look across the top of the level, that's where the horizon is, all the time. It doesn't matter how high you go. I also want you to notice, see how I have it on 1x zoom? So that's the same as what your eyes see.
That's actually a complete lie. I tested this with myself, with my own phone. I think he's using a Samsung, I use a Samsung. And I think to get something that I looked at something side by side, and I had to get the 5x zoom before it actually looked the same size is what I could see with my eye. I was looking at like a board that had a picture on it, and only until I got about 5x zoom was I able to then match with the same angular size as what I could see with my eyes. So 1x zoom, it will give you a field of vision but everything isn't the same. Everything's a lot smaller in your phone as how the lenses work to try to get a field of vision, but it's not what you see with your eyes. Like I said, I had to get the 5x zoom before everything was the same angular size as I see with my eyes.
Now here's the reason why
Now let's look and see where the horizon is in comparison to that level. Something doesn't seem right. The horizon is actually above the level. Holy.
That you can't tell that we're moving because the horizon always stays at eye level. I guess that's why they call it eye level. Now we're going up here about 35 feet and the horizon just stays right there the whole way. Now this is impossible on a globe. And in a minute here I'm going to explain to you why. Check it out, it doesn't move. And we're going up there.
Really? Are you sure about that? Because I already showed that the horizon was below the level we started out with. Now let's have a quick look here and see what it looks like now that he's higher up. Well, hold on, look at that. Now it's about even with it. Oh, well, look at that. So started out when he was at lower elevation, the horizon is actually slightly above that level. Now he only went up 35 feet. That's not very high in change from, in relation to the Earth, to go from to only do 35 foot in elevation, and yet you can see that there actually was a change. Now suddenly that level he has there, the bubble level, was now or even with the horizon. So the horizon's gone from above that level, it's actually moved down. And this is a flat Earth trying to be deceptive and trying and pushing a false narrative by conflating the results of this test, which actually isn't this guy's own test. He's took it with somebody else. I've had this sent to me by several different people, and I decided to finally address it because I got sick and tired of people thinking this is proof. I was telling them what was happening and they weren't believing me. So now I'm going to do a video and prove it. But yeah, so if you look there at the beginning where I showed you the screenshot from that, the horizon is actually above that level, and when he goes up 35 feet, well, like I said, it isn't a massive change in elevation. I did one where I went from about 20 foot above the sea level to, and I did another one later on. There's 454 feet above the sea level. So I actually did a elevation change about 430 feet, and you can see there was a bigger difference that way. Even though both of them showed that the horizon does not rise to eye level. And as I showed you at the very beginning of this, when he's first going down the elevator, you can see that the distant objects, the trees or wherever they're off in the distance, were disappearing behind the curvature of the Earth. But of course, flat earthers just try to ignore all that stuff that disproves their whole premise in the first place. Let's move on.
35, 40 feet. Still going up. You can't even tell going up. Still going up. Okay, so if you lived on a ball, let's say you came off the ground 2 feet. Well, if you come off the ground 2 feet, the Earth curves 2 feet, so you're 4 feet off the horizon. Now, if you come up 50 feet, the ground curves 50 feet because it's squared. That's how a ball works. So you're 100 feet off the horizon. So let's go back to the elevator over here. All right, so let's say you're 6 feet off the ground. If you go up 6 feet, the Earth curves 6 feet. That means you're 12 feet off the horizon. If you're 30 feet off the ground, the Earth curves 30 feet. You're 60 feet off the horizon, right? So if you're in a plane 35,000 feet, now you're 70,000 feet above the horizon. So you can see as you go up, the horizon, you should be looking down at it lower and lower. Makes total sense, right?
Yes, and that's exactly what he actually showed in his video. You can clearly see this, and he's tried to, I think what they did with that is that they claimed that the times on magnification on the phone was the same as what you see with your eye, which isn't true. As I said before, you can test this yourself quite easily. Take your phone out, look at something even off in distance, and then zoom in until it's the same angular size as what you see with your eyes. It's not 1 times. That's it may give you field of vision, but it's not going to give you the angular size and the magnification that what you see actually with your eyes. So he lied there. Also, as I showed in his video, he actually started out with that bubble level below the horizon, and then when he gained elevation of only 30 feet, then the horizon became almost level with his bubble level, showing that the horizon actually drops below. See, he didn't start at eye level, he started below eye level, and then pushing it lower, anything like this. What he didn't show was actually where eye level is. And how you can do that is by using either a like a sextant, or not a sextant so much, but a theodolite or a total station, or you can even get sometimes some phones you can get an app that actually shows where you're standing and you're holding it up, and you hold it up to eye level, and then it'll show you your pitch if you're pitching up and down, and you can have the camera, and you can easily see, as I have done with using something like this on my phone, a theodolite app that shows that the horizon dips below eye level, even when you're just only a few feet above the horizon, above sea level. The video I did, I was actually 20 feet above, and I looked across a large waterway, and across there was a wind turbine, and the ground at the elevation there was actually 2 feet higher than I was, and yet I was bisecting halfway up the 150 foot wind turbine. And then when I did one that was 453 feet, I actually looked out across the city because I had a clear view, and I could see off the distance hills that are about the same altitude I was, but they were well below my eye level. So this is not a difficult thing to do, but what they're doing this one here with this little experiment or whatever is that they're starting out by deceiving you by putting it below the horizon, and then as you go up, the horizon is then coming down. As well as I showed you earlier, is that distant objects actually disappear over the horizon, and so you're actually seeing where you can see further over the horizon, and then you're coming down. See, there's land and stuff out there as well that's actually going to increase the elevation, but he doesn't actually mention that at all. So that's about it. I have gone and debunked this whole video and proven that they've tried to deceive you, they've lied, and they've misconstrued the information, and then they left out things that clearly debunks their whole premise. So that's about it. So remember, people, the Earth is a globe, space is real, gravity is actually improving, flat Earth is nothing but a fallacy, fantasy from a delusional cult. And remember, people, stay curious. Thanks for watching. See you again.
Stuff like that's why people quit flat Earth, dude. You know? That's why people quit, dude.